Yeah.
Phaedra says she was sober. I mean, witnessing this, and they were like dipping in the lady pond, which we know obviously Brandy has done numerous times. So, I mean, like to me, I feel like this is a case of Carolyn's embarrassed and is trying to get these scenes not to air, but it sounds like this is moving forward.
Moving forward, what? The show?
Like it's going to air. I mean, I'm sort of like.
I would love it to. Listen, I'm not saying like when I said Melissa Gorga will 100% be fired. I'm not saying we will 100% not see Girls Trip, but you know how I feel about this. I said in the beginning, I do think Andy's statements are so conflictory. I don't necessarily believe that that we're ever going to see this. I think this is I just think this is a strange gray area.
I'm starting to think, I don't know. I'm just starting to think that
starting to be Team Brandy on this.
Well, no, I'm starting to think like this was a lesbian moment that Carolyn regrets. Like that's what I'm starting to think, because that statement from Phaedra, I don't know. I thought that was pretty telling. That's it. And
I don't necessarily, I mean, people are going to come for me now because this now goes back to other things. I don't really think of Phaedra as a liar. I don't really think of Brandy as a liar.
I don't think there's any.
Did Brandy and Denise hook up? Yes, I believe Brandy. I love you, Denise. I love Denise. I believe
100%. They completely hooked up and Denise did not want that to get back to her man. That is exactly what that was about.
Speaking of which, I didn't listen because I don't listen. But did you listen to Denise on Bethenny's podcast? Did you do it?
Only the snippet where Denise basically also agrees with us and says the Vanity Fair article was a nothing burger. That is the only part I listened to, because Denise is like, oh, I didn't think it was that great. And then Bethenny did her thing. Well, I wasn't behind it. Like, it wasn't about my feature. Like, I'm not suing them. And then, Bethenny tried to distance herself from the article.
But here we go again. She has a guest on, Denise Richards. Okay. And she starts with her dramatic, when I think of people who are just, I want to know more about them, I think of Denise Richards. Okay, first of all, cut the bullshit. This is who came on your podcast this week. You didn't like search for Denise. You reached out to everyone. Kelly Ben-Simone told you to go fuck yourself. Ramona's playing hard to get. You know what I mean? You thought it was too soon to have Jill back. So just call it what it is. Denise said she would do your podcast. Great get, Bethenny. But let's not make it like, you stayed up at night and who really, there are people that are confusing in the world that you want to know more about. I don't think Denise Richards is the first person that comes to mind. Second of all, where there's no headline. No, I didn't listen to it either, nor am I. There's no headline about sleeping with Brandy. You have Denise there. You don't think you should ask her? At least I think the girl just dropped the ball. She's so myopic with her own, everyone will come for me. She's so myopic with her own agenda of reckoning and Vanity Fair and just you were mistreated by Rinna. She's so in the reality reckoning thing. This woman is sitting there. I would have been like, well, why, first of all, does Brandy say that she hooked up with you? Okay, that's a good answer. My second question is, did you hook up with Brandy? Shut up, silence, smile, let them answer. Don't interrupt. Nothing you could say, David, is interesting when you just asked Denise if she really hooked up with Brandy. Well, the third question. Well, then why is Brandy saying this? I know the headlines. At home, when you're sitting home and you're reading your newspaper, having your Casa Amigos that you love so much, what did Aaron say about this the first he heard of it? 5. Did you tell Aaron this was going to be on the show before it was on? These are all the questions I would ask.
Yeah.
I mean, is Aaron okay with this? Where is he? If you ran into Brandy, question 6, have you seen Brandy since all this happened? Question 7, what would you say if you ran into Brandy? Question 8, what would Aaron say if you ran into Brandy? Those are
genius. You are so good. And you're right. None of those questions were asked. And to your point, all those questions play into Denise talking about her 20-year friendship demise with Lisa Rinna on the show. And there was, yeah, that's great. And Denise basically says she can't believe that Rinna threw her away as quickly as she did. And it goes to show you how toxic Bravo is.
And that is all great. Now, is it over? Like, what is there any chance back with Rinna? If Rinna called you, what would you say? I mean, there's just questions here that you gotta prepare. By the way, Bethenny, I understand preparing for these interviews. I don't enjoy it. Preparing for these interviews is not fun. There is nothing I enjoy about preparing for the interviews I do. I do not enjoy it. The easiest ones to prepare for, when you get into the meat and potatoes, you're still in it and you look up and it's like 2 hours later. The person is there. It could be a once in a lifetime chance. And it's not about me. It's about these lists. It's not even really about the person that you're interviewing. To me, it's about these wonderful people now that are listening to you and me, Sarah, that are allowing us to sit here. I never take for granted that. I don't think I owe it to myself. I think I owe it to all these people of like, these are the questions the human beings that are listening actually want you to ask. So I just think with Denise, like everyone else, there's a lot of questions you missed, Bethenny. There's a lot of questions you missed, right?
Yeah, no. I completely agree. Yeah, you already know how I feel. Like, I don't listen to that podcast unless I absolutely have to for this show. So I listen to the highlights.
And by the way, Denise, are you happy? Is there some part of you that's like full circle, like justified that Rinna is now off the show? That's got to feel somewhat good. You're a human being. And do you believe Rinna was fired? Because I think she was. Despite what we saw on the,
I mean, there's so ask any of these questions. Are we certain?
I mean, there's no headlines. It usually makes a headline. The only headline I see is that she's shocked at her, shocked that Rinna would do this. So I don't think she asked a lot of these questions. No, I'm not coming for you, Bethenny. I'm just trying to help you. I think everyone listening to this right now is probably like, yes, I would like to know what Denise is sitting there. What does she think about all this and the brandy and hooking up? And I don't know, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're an absolute genius. Absolutely. That's why your interviews are so good.
And by the way, if you want to keep it current, we're about to see you go off on Erica Jane. Erica says you came in with an agenda. Let's talk about the dinner party from hell, which we're about to see when Erica says, you could get a $7 bundle of Denise spreading her legs on OnlyFans. Let's talk about this dinner that's coming up. Forget about the past.
They must have talked about that.
I don't know. Okay, fine. Everyone, you can roll your eyes and say, listen, next time, Dave. I don't see the headlines. And the reality blurb, we love Monty. She's very good to our podcast. She runs us all the time. She don't miss a beat, that Monty over at reality blurb. She puts those headlines up. I don't see it. Maybe it's coming out. I don't know.
My God, that is like so basic. Wow.
I think, Bethenny, you left some low-hanging and you left some high-hanging fruit on the table. Bethenny, I want a meeting with you and I'll teach you how to interview. Sarah,
Denise, what's it like doing OnlyFans with your daughter? Even better. I mean, you think anything like that's creepy? Nah.
Yes. Why didn't you ask about this? Your Sammy's sweetheart. She went on the OnlyFans. Charlie had a problem with it. Charlie has come around. Well, no, she did. I think she did talk about this because I think she revealed that Charlie is now okay ever since Sammy, the daughter, bought a house